All right, and welcome to another special episode of Stay Tuned with Troy and Howie. And we are also Facebook Live for those of you who are joining us. And I know I said 8 o'clock, so if you're on here a little bit later, I'm sorry. Sucks to be you, I guess. But but anyway, we do have a special guest here, and her name is Kristen Closson. How's it going, Kristen?
Hi, Howie. Good to see you again, and Troy, you as well.
Yeah,
And
nice
I'm
nice to meet you here tonight.
privileged to be here tonight. You guys have something really special going on.
Thank
Well,
you.
I
And
mean, I don't think we're the only one.
we're the only special ones. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, but
Um,
yeah, as Kristen just kind of alluded to, I had met you, what, a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago
Yeah,
ish.
not that long ago.
Yeah, and it was out in Ohio. We were both at a 90th birthday party for actually my wife's family member, and she was sitting at the same table as me, and we just started talking, and we pretty much hit it off right away. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it kind of got rolling when you mentioned about your daughter and about some of the services that that you're hoping that she achieves in the near future, and
yeah.
um, yeah, and it just kind of spun off there, and then you started talking about what type of an entrepreneur you are, and that really kind of like sparked the buttons as far as what you got going on in life. So, Kristen, I'll let you kind of introduce yourself as far as what you got going. What businesses are you currently running, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thanks, Howie. No, I committed to my mom to go to Barb's 90th birthday party, and Barb was a good friend of my mom's. And I mean, in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, don't you expect to meet Howie and just start talking about life?
That's right.
And that was not what I expected at Barb's 90th birthday party, but it was so much fun. I had more fun than my mom. And so that was, yeah, a pleasant surprise. So um, it was just
can we
it was just,
time out 1 second? Time out. This seems like the perfect segue, first of all. Happy 90th birthday to Barb. Let's just get that out of the way.
yes,
That's
yes.
All
right.
right.
She,
And then
she's a
I'm going to be a little
powerhouse.
selfish. I'm going to be a little selfish just for a moment here and just say happy 12th birthday to my son. So here we go.
There we go.
Oh, very happy birthday,
Happy
summer
birthday,
birthday.
Lincoln.
Sorry to interrupt, but that seemed like the perfect segue. So go ahead, Kristen.
Birthdays all around.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think our conversations went from special needs to the Bezos wall to app to I think we covered like 24 topics in about an hour and a half, and party was
Yeah.
over and moving
Yeah.
on. So, and
Yeah, it was kind of refreshing because number one, I mean, the time flew by as a result, and I kind of wish I had a lot more time, and I guess this is why we're here now, to talk more about it.
yeah,
And but yeah, I mean, you're into like you have some. I'm just gonna put it out there. You're a brain, you definitely know what you're doing, and when it comes to building things, whether it's businesses or even programs or apps or you name it, you've done it.
I think it's just one of those cases. And I know, I think that's why we hit it off. I think you guys are very similar. Just that lifetime learner. Like,
Hmm.
it's not a brain, it's just like maybe an obsession with consumption. Like, you'll never live enough lives to learn everything you would like to learn. Like, I'd
For
have to
sure.
live 100 lives and then I probably still would find more. So I think that is really the secret to, going out and doing fun and different things is not letting all those other things in life get in your way. But if you're just obsessed with the learning and figuring out, then it leads you to Barb's 90th birthday party meeting Howie.
That's right.
Well, I mean, let's start telling your story a little bit here, Kristen. I don't. Should we start at the beginning or should we kind of start in the middle and then work our way back? Because I think it's kind of interesting here how this all started. Was Vugal, was that your first big venture, or was there
Yeah,
something before that?
I was working at a software firm called NextGen. It was, a competitor to Epic, a large healthcare system that you use at your physician's office. So I learned a lot working at that organization and met my co-founder, Doug. And so he was sales, I was more operations. And so we
Hmm.
were just always solving things together.
Hmm.
And, he really was the one to push me to say, we can do this differently. And similar to probably some of your stories and others, a lot of my thoughts and ideas were a little maybe dismissed.
Mm.
And I don't know, I probably had this problem when I was 5 too. Like if you tell me I can't do something, gosh darn it, now I got to do it.
Yeah.
And
Now I
Yeah.
got to prove you
so
wrong.
I'm like, well, now I got to do it just to do it. And so that was in the healthcare arena. Revenue cycle management is the portion of healthcare where we take care of all the claims and the finances, and
Hmm.
trillions of dollars are running through those fingers, and had, billions of dollars going on, 170 clients just in the plane all the time, just typical corporate America world. And he really was like, your ideas, like they really could do something. So the software we created, we kind of did the opposite of what is typical in the industry, and we really wanted to go expose all of the challenges and where money is being lost.
Hmm.
And so we were just so excited because we, cracked. I just had lots of algorithms in my head, and he just had lots of ways to tell our story and give the messaging. So we just thought like we were just going to have hundreds of customers day one. Well, no, there was a lot of people who did not want to see millions of dollars lost.
Yeah.
And so, just really an interesting story. And then when you found the right customers who were really trying to solve the problem, he just hit it off. And so
So
that was fun.
c- can I just clarify that a second there? When you say like customers didn't want to see the money
I know. I was
lost, but
thinking the same thing there.
yeah. So what you're saying there is that the people that you were going to were probably the ones that were involved in the money laundering type thing, and they didn't want anybody to help with that.
Yes, and it's a very difficult and complex industry where you're I mean, you just have millions and billions of transactions and data
Hmm.
points. And I mean, to harness that, I mean, eventually some of our clients were some of the largest clients in the world, the largest healthcare systems in the world. And that's where we could really hit that off. But if you're in a 20, 50, 10, 5, 3 doctor group, sometimes the political climate in that, even if this person is stellar, if you lose a dollar, they could be
Yep.
fired.
Yep.
So just you're just really shocked when they were like, saying, there is no way you're showing this to my physicians. Like, because our whole premise was, um, let me show you your data first. Like, I'll
Sure.
do this for free. And
Yeah.
that's really how we got started, was just like
Okay.
going at risk on ourselves, like betting on ourselves. And people don't want to trust you initially coming out as a new organization and big complex systems and HIPAA and everything like that. But us betting on ourselves, like probably just a little bit cocky, and but in a
Which is
way of like
good.
pure wanting to help.
Hmm.
And so just leading with that spirit.
So
Yeah.
like I kind of say this to some of the kids I'm coaching, to my daughter even too, that I think there's a difference between cockiness and confidence. Would you say it was more confidence, or would you say it was cockiness?
I think it was so fun that I call it cocky, but it was definitely confidence, meaning like um the confidence of like I can do something that you normally wouldn't do as well. Like you
Hmm.
normally aren't going to go in and say, "Hey, here is all of our mistakes, and I'm going to put it on a dashboard and put it right in front of you." Because as we progressed in the software industry, we actually added services where our teams would actually go in and help them do that. And we had close to 2,000 people in India, so we had our own firm in India and in the US. So that got big and complicated and
For sure.
fun. And as part of that is just knowing that it's better to really be totally authentic and transparent
Hmm.
and holding yourself to excellence
Yep.
versus like, what can I do to like get by with as little as possible? Just make the client okay with me, not like ecstatic with me. And so
Absolutely.
we really wanted to go to like delighting that client and exceeding their expectations.
Okay.
And in that process, we probably, you get a little carried away and you're just like having fun with it and continuing to find every hole that you could possibly find and expose that information and
So
just,
how does your
you know,
software like how does that like work in a sense? I mean, do they
Mhm.
just plug in all their data and then it just kind of rolls through it and it picks
And
out?
that's the complicated way to get started too first, right? Meaning day one, nobody's going to start exporting their healthcare data to you. So
Right.
we had to do a very non-scalable way of we actually implemented within their system. So we did that for our first few clients, worked on getting SOC 2 compliant. This is all jargon within that industry, and was able to start taking their data out. So then we would take a nightly feed and it would just constantly be recalculating and finding all of those opportunities, finding situations where if you don't do this tomorrow, this money will die. Like we call this the almost dead list, like things like that, bringing new concepts to a really old, archaic industry. But we plug into Epic, NextGen, Allscripts, Athena. These are the
Oh,
softwares in
wow.
that
Okay. I'm
health.
familiar
Yeah.
with Epic.
So
When I worked for
yeah,
a hospital
yeah.
system,
So
Epic
Epic is
was
the
the big,
hardest,
yeah.
but Allscripts, ECW, NextGen were a lot of our big clients, Next Tech, things
Interesting.
like that. So we would take that and give them new ways and new strategies and more efficiencies and automation before
Hmm.
AI. It was more automation, bringing all that into helping them solve this at a different angle and just helping them collect their revenue, collect it faster, improve. That's just really the secret to what should you start? How do you do something value? As long as you're adding value,
Hmm.
um, then that's the basis to get started and stuff. So we were just very much about the software added value. And then when we did the services in the industry, many people were frustrated with things happening in India and things like that nature. But we really adored the people over there. And it was just really often the way it was delivered. Um, let's deliver this in a way that if you want 10 people to help you, we're going to probably give you 8. And we just took the
Mm,
opposite approach. Well, if you want 10 people to help you, we're going to give you 12. And meaning that there's always opportunity for somebody getting trained or on vacation or something like that. Like, let's
Hmm.
not always be in that scarcity mindset. And
mhm.
it wasn't any more complicated than that. Like, it was just really like
Wow.
about excellence. And so, yeah, so we had that for about 7 years. And during that time, it's kind of one of those things where you have your first client, then your third client, and
Right.
your 10th client. It's a different milestone, and you start making different decisions. And so we went through this process of like, do we start soliciting money from venture capital? And then you start becoming a little bit too mature, and then you're moving over to private equity. And
Hmm.
then we really thought that's the right way to go. And everything we looked at, it really felt like we were giving up the company. And so as we moved along, then we really found that we didn't really need the money anymore. It was the business was funding itself. And so when we didn't want it, they wanted to give it to us. When we wanted it, so we bootstrapped the whole thing. I think we each put in less than $20,000. And
Wow.
Wow.
So
so
you say we
That's
each put
impressive.
in less than
How,
$20,000, and obviously that sounds like a ton of money. But then when you
yeah.
look at the big picture, what was the reward?
So our final valuation, so we didn't end up taking on private equity. We didn't end up taking on venture capital. We used an investment banker. So I can kind of talk about all three of those because at the beginning of this whole venture, those all just sounded like, the same word. And we end up selling through an investment banker as a full acquisition. So we sold the organization in October of 23, but we exited towards the end of 24, as typically the founders do. And so the initial, um, so this is all public information, so it's not private, but the valuation was 67 million, and part of that was, in all of that was received in October, and then there was some earnout, and so
As in this
we're still
past
working.
October.
October of 23.
Okay, gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha.
And then we had to stay on for a little while,
Hmm.
and then we left at the end of 24. So it's been, a year and a half of trying to figure out, what that's like without your you do or die like every day, just that
Yeah, I
intensity
mean
and
it's
then
it's literally
going.
your child in a sense, you know. You're
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
building it to where you want it to be, and then it gets to that, and then I know when we were at that party, you had mentioned you had received, what was it, 90 something offers?
yeah. So we were
hey,
probably
Hallie.
considered.
Can we take a pause here a second? Because I think we lost our Facebook feed. I think it's frozen.
Well, it's still showing on there, but
Yeah, but I like if on I have it going on my phone in the background just in case, and it's been frozen for a
okay.
little while now. So
Okay. I'm not quite
I didn't
sure.
know if you wanted to. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't know if we wanted to try to restart that feed.
Um, yeah, I'll stop it right this second. Sorry about this.